Let's head to the voicemail of Truth and Reason.
Was here watching the Gilbert Arenas show, and he was talking about Emoni Bates, which just scored 30 points against the Lakers. He has that quick release. And one of the guys on the show was asking why wasn't he playing, and he said, well, the Cavs, they're ignorant because this guy, Gatorade Player of the Year, he's 6'9" with the quick release. They need a small forward, so yeah, it's perplexing. He should be playing because he's 6'9". They need length. Thanks for taking my call. Appreciate it.
As always, appreciate all of the voicemails. Ethan, they're 29-4. Whose minutes is he going to take? But it does, and the answer here isn't Emoni Bates, but it does bring up a question. If everybody's healthy, who do you think is the starting small forward? And they see Bates practice. They keep an eye on the Cleveland Charge. If he was doing something that they thought would help him win, he'd be here yesterday.
I think it's unfair for Emoni Bates to be getting this kind of look because of what he was as a prospect coming into out of high school, coming into college, then coming into the NBA. He's just 20 years old, if I recall, and he's coming off a injury where he had to have surgery. He's just getting back into the flow of things. And the other thing is, when you talk about, you're absolutely correct, minutes. Whose minutes is he going to take? Sam Merrill's losing minutes. Ty Jerome's losing minutes. This is without Isaac Okoro on the floor right now, ladies and gentlemen. And if you want to talk about 6'9" small forwards, that's who I'm going with as my small forward, who I think the Cavs should start at the small forward for the remainder of the season. That's Dean Wade, 6'9.5", being able to play alongside Jared Allen and Evan Mobley. He has NBA, an NBA resume that shows that he can play at that level. Emoni Bates, sure, put on 26 pounds of muscle, all those other things this past off season. Great. Developing, all those good things. But can he defend? Is he just a shooter? What are those different things? When you look at Dean Wade, he is a 3-and-D guy who doesn't need the basketball all that. He takes low volume amount of shots. He is able to spread the floor still. He has gravity. And then he's one of the best defenders in the NBA. He might not get the credit for it that he deserves. He might not make an all-defensive team in his entire career. But teams know that Dean Wade is a menace on that side of the ball. When you talk about guys who have a high defensive rating, Dean Wade is a 104.2. I believe that would make him, if the Cavs had that for the remainder of the season or remainder of when they're on the court, they would have the second best defense in the entire NBA. Here are some stats for you when it comes to Dean Wade and why I think he should be the starting small forward going forward. The Cavs are now 89-33 with Dean Wade on the floor since trading for Donovan Mitchell. They are 39-36 without him in that span, which is a 43-win pace. And if you remember what I said earlier in the show, the Cavs are on a 72-game winning pace. They are 23-1 with Dean Wade on the floor this season. Ladies and gentlemen, they've lost 4 games. 3 of them came without Dean Wade on the floor. Then you speak of playing teams like the Los Angeles Lakers, the Denver Nuggets, the Milwaukee Bucks, the New York Knicks, even Philly, teams with a substantial big and other large wings, especially when discussing how Kenny Atkinson splits the minutes of Evan Mobley and Jared Allen, as I mentioned earlier. Although Allen can protect the paint on his own, having Dean Wade as an option to slide as the power forward or small forward alongside George Niang gives the Cavs more defensive versatility with Wade's ability to guard 1 through 5 without decreasing their spacing on the offensive end. And then if you're going to say, oh, what about Max Strus? Sure. He was supposed to be the small forward coming into the season. He's been hurt. He was hurt for the first 27 games. Now he's back. You got to see against the Los Angeles Lakers how impactful he can be off the bench. 15 points, 5 triples, even though he's on a minute restriction, which is going to be lifted soon. He showed his impact off the bench, and it adds another weapon in Kenny Atkinson's tool belt for options to go to in late game scenarios with another starter caliber player able to stifle and overpower opposing benches. You talk about having Karis LeVert, Ty Jerome, Max Strus, all options off the bench or players that could start in the fourth quarter instead of Dean Wade, depending on what the game calls for. And that goes back to what I said earlier about Kenny Atkinson making in-game adjustments on the fly that are so important.
I'm with you. And again, Emoni Bates, young guy, let him develop. Let's see if he can earn his minutes in the NBA.